The broadcast of the regular meeting of the Minneapolis Local Board of Appeal and Equalization will now begin.
Good morning. Welcome to this live broadcast of our virtual meeting. This meeting includes the remote participation of members as authorized under Minnesota statutes section 13D.021 due to the declared local health pandemic. For the record, my name is Neil Anderson and I'm the chair of the Local Board of Appeal and Equalization. I will now call this meeting to order. The open meeting law requires a roll call vote to be conducted during a virtual meeting, and a certification form will be completed for each local board meeting. This initial roll call will allow the city assessor to complete the certification form on behalf of the board members with a verbal signature. Will the clerk call the roll so that we may verify the presence of a quorum?
Board Member Bland.
Present.
Board Member Havig.
Present.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
There are 3 members present.
Let the record reflect a quorum of the board is present. We will proceed to the agenda, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's legislative information management system, which is available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. Members, the agenda is before you for consideration. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I here move to adopt the agenda.
Thank you.
Second, Bland.
It's been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to adopt the agenda. With that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
There are 3 ayes.
That motion passes and the agenda as printed is adopted. New business, write-in hearings that are before the board. We'll start with item number 3, 1326 Madison Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0172. Property owner is Gary Steen. 2020 city assessed market value is $480,500. Is there any comments or discussion from board members on this property? It's a double bungalow. He's provided an expense report, but virtually all of it's been redacted, so cannot make any sense from that. And several comps of varying quality. Board Member Bland.
I guess I'd like to see some more detailed information to be able to make a determination on the value. It may well be that there should be an adjustment made, but I don't know that we have the information to be able to do that.
Thank you. Board Member Havig, do you have any comments?
I agree that that I'm looking over these comps and it seems to be hard to follow. So I guess I would make a motion to sustain the value of 1326 Madison Street for a value of $480,500.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Bland.
It's been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $480,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland. Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 4, 958 26th Avenue Northeast, case number 20BH-0173. I will excuse me 1 second, I'm missing a little information here. we go. Property is 2020 assessed valuation is $270,000. And Board Member Bland.
My notes here say meager information. There are some photos provided, but no comments with the photos, so I don't know what they refer to. I guess based on that, I would move that we sustain the value for the property at 958 26th Avenue Northeast at $270,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $270,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 5, 2719 8th Avenue, or excuse me, 2719 8th Street South, case number 20BH-0174. The property is 2020 assessed value is $413,000. And again, the owner has just provided some photos without explanation. I'm not sure if any other board members have any other comments on that.
I do, Havig. I feel bad for these people that appeal that don't understand that we're looking at comparable sales and not pictures of siding. So I guess that I will make a motion to sustain the value of $413,000 for 2719 8th Street South.
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at let's see, make sure I'm on the right ad, $413,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 6, 953 20th Avenue Northeast, case number 20BH-0175. Another property, assessed value is $220,000. Is there any discussion or questions from the board? Board Member Bland. Board member.
There's no, this one doesn't even have any photos and there's no comment. And based on that, I would move that we sustain the value for 953 20th Avenue Northeast at $220,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland, second by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $220,000. I'll ask the clerk to call a roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 7, 2510 Fillmore Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0176. 2020 assessed market value is $259,000. Again, woeful lack of information in which to make a decision. Any board member Havig?
Based on the lack of information for this property, I make a motion to sustain the value of the property at 2510 Fillmore Street at $259,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $259,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 8, 2418 Fillmore Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0177. The 2020 assessed market value is $334,000, and same as all the previous. There's general lack of information. Board Member Bland.
Move to sustain the value at 2418 Fillmore Street at $334,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Havoc, second.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $334,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 9, 2621, 2619 Burnham Road, case number 20BH-0178. Property 2020 assessed value is $448,000. Board Member Havig. Oh.
That was from the last case, but
Okay.
That's fine. In looking at this this Burnham Road case, they have not given any comps to make a decision on, but I have had experience selling properties along this new proposed light rail, and it has a huge impact on the property values. So I would suggest that we take that into consideration.
I agree. I don't know if comps need to be provided in all cases when there's mitigating circumstances, like a public works project like the light rail. Board Member Bland, do you have any additional comments?
Only that when I saw the address and the evaluation, I was surprised simply because Burnham Road is a pretty pricey street, but I agree with you, Chair Anderson, that the light rail has quite a deleterious effect on the property values along the corridor.
And the trees that were taken down, I believe, were on public property and not on their own property. So the lack of tree cover isn't necessarily a direct issue on them, but or I mean, as far as something that was ever in their control. The property value increase from 425 to 48 is not significant given the market increases that we've had in the area as well. So any consideration in this to me would be on the lighter end. Board Member Havik.
I guess based on the impact of this property, I would recommend that we go back to the 2019 assessed value of $425,000.
Is that a motion? Okay. It's been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $425,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 10, 4934 Aldrich Avenue South, case number 20BH-0181. The 2020 assessed value is $650,000, and the owners have provided a comparative market analysis. Are there any other comments on this property? Board Member Havik.
Yeah, we go from no comps to so many comps. So I will, has anybody had a chance to review this? I would need some help on this.
Board Member Bland.
Oddly enough, I feel the same way. I didn't make any notes on this, which I have on almost everything else, and I think it's because there was so much information provided. I thought, well, I will go back when I'm done and review all of it, which I ended up not doing last night at midnight. So I will say this, that the market value of $650 is not out of line for that particular area in that block. If it pleases the chair, I would take a couple of minutes to look through the information provided.
Okay. I've looked through a number of the comparables, and I believe they just took every house that had sold in Southwest Minneapolis in the or whatever time frame, but there are comps as far away as 61st and Knox, which is down by the crosstown, and a Rambler built in the 50s. It's not even close to a comparable property. So given the overwhelming amount of comparable properties provided and the lack of any that would or any support to make each one applicable to this property, I don't think we can make a decision. Board Member Bland.
I would agree. Looking quickly through this, and that's probably why it threw me off. We've got properties valued from $200,000, $294,000 up to $1.4 million as comparables. They're not. So based on that, I would make a motion that we sustain the value of $650,000 for the property at 4934 Aldrich Avenue South.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havik.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havik to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $650,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
There are 3 ayes and the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 11, 3128 Hennepin Avenue, number 1, case number 20BH-0182. 2020 assessed market value is $215,000, and there is absolutely no information provided. Board Member Bland.
You are correct. No information, and I would vote, or I would move to sustain the value of 3128 Hennepin Avenue South, Unit 001 at $215,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havik.
Been moved by Bland and seconded by Havik to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $215,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 12, 5937 Russell Avenue South, case number 20BH-0183. The 2020 market or estimated value is at $385,000. And the homeowners provided a letter of distress, feeling that she overpaid for the property because of the urgency of her familial status at the time. Are there any other comments? Board Member Bland.
These hardship letters are difficult to read. I'm not sure, however, that a hardship causes relates to the value of the property. There's not a whole lot of other information provided that's useful. Anybody else have a comment with regard to information provided?
Well, links provided to property sales do not provide enough information for me to make a decision. Board Member Havik, do you have any additional comments?
Well, I agree. I was looking at the links and reading the letter, and again, I agree with Board Member Bland that hardship letters are difficult, but it does not affect the value, and the comparables don't convince me otherwise. So I would put a motion forward to sustain the value of 5937 Russell Avenue South at $385,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Has been moved by Havik and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $385,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 13, 4824 DuPont Avenue South, case number 20BH-0184. The property is currently assessed at $738,000. The applicant provided an appraisal dated 6/13 of 19 and or 6/23/19, and the valuation on that is $590,000. The owner's estimate of his market value or her market value is $610,000. Board Member Havik.
I guess without going through every page of this massive packet, the assessed value for 18, 19, and 20 has remained the same. So it is stabilizing more to her favor. So I guess based on the last 3 years being the same, I would make a motion to sustain the value of 4824 DuPont for $738,000.
Second.
The motion it has been moved by Havik and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 market assessed value at $738,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
There are 3 ayes and the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 14, 1912 Emerson Avenue South, number 2, case number 20BH-0186. This property has been assessed in 2020 at $380,500. Comments from the homeowner. It was on the market. The homeowner or property owner had it on the market, and it did not sell at $335,000. There was an appraisal done January 31st of 2019 for $320,000. And the appraisal is attached. Any other comments from board members? Board Member Bland.
Well, this is a little bit of a difficult one. I'm not, excuse me, I'm not sure that, it does appear that it's overvalued for the current market or the last year's market. I would move that we reduce the value of 1912 Emerson Avenue, number 2, to last year's assessment of $366,000.
Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $366,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Item number 15, 4004 Aldrich Avenue South, case number 20BH-0187. The property is 2020 assessed market value is $347,500, and I don't see that any information has been provided. Board Member Bland. Sorry, Ms. Sue.
I agree. No information has been provided by the homeowner, and I would make a motion that we sustain the value of 4004 Aldrich Avenue South at $347,500.
Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
Been moved by Bland, seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $347,500. $347,500. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With
Item
3
number.
ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 16, 5416 Emerson Avenue South, case number 20BH-0188. The property is assessed for 2020 is assessed at $450,500, and again, the property owner has not provided, or the applicant has not provided any information. Board Member Havig.
Based on the fact that there's no information for value and it's the same assessed value as 2019, I make a motion to sustain the value of $450,500 for the property address at 5416 Emerson Avenue South.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $450,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With
Item
3
number
ayes, the motion passes.
Sorry. Item 17, 2011 Emerson Avenue South, number 101, case number 20BH-0191. The 2020 assessed estimated market value is currently $318,500. The applicant did provide an appraisal dated 1/14 of 19 for $280,000. And property sale price in February of 2019 was $273,000. Between the appraisal and the sales price, there would be some consideration of appreciation through the remainder of 2019. Board Member Bland.
I noticed that the assessor's evaluation did adjust downward from the 2019 value, which was $335,500 to $318,500. So there was some recognition that the value had decreased. I guess based on the purchase price and the appraisal that that we see, I would move that we reduce the market value for this year from $318,500 to $300,000 for the property at 2011 Emerson Avenue South, number 101.
Do I have a second?
Having second.
Been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $300,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 18, 2209 East Franklin Avenue, case number 20BH-0192. 2020 assessed value is currently at $730,000. Checking to see what the property owner has provided. There's some information. Board Member Bland.
I think based on the information that was provided with redacted rental information, that we don't have the necessary information to be able to make any kind of decision on a readjustment of the value. And based on that, I would move that we sustain the value of $730,000 for the property at 2209 Franklin Avenue East.
Is there a second?
I would have a second with comment. Going from 425 to 730 in 1 year, I think is substantial. That being said, this is the only way to carry them forward to Hennepin County, so I will second this motion.
I agree. There should be some room there, but it has not been made clear. It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $730,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 19, 3025 30th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0193. The 2020 estimated market value is at $1,344,000. And I do not see anything. Does anyone else have anything in their information about this property? And if not, may I have a motion?
I move that we sustain the value of the property at 3025 30th Avenue South at $1,344,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
Moved by Bland, seconded by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,344,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 20, 3014 31st Avenue South, case number 20BH-0194. The 2020, get to the right page. The 2020, excuse me. Oh, I see. There's a multiple address numbers on here. The 2020 assessed market value is currently at $1,548,000. And like the others, no additional information has been provided other than a rent roll that's been redacted. Board Member Bland.
Yes, based on the previous properties, we don't have the information provided to be able to make a decision. And again, to mirror Mr. Havic's comment, as we do over and over again, they go through their step and we suggest they move on to the County Appeals Board with their appeal. So based on that, I move that we sustain the value at 3020 31st Avenue South at $1,548,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,548,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 21, 3112 Minnehaha Avenue South, case number 20BH-0195. The 2020 assessed value currently is at $1,980,000. No information is provided. Board Member Havoc or Board Member Bland, would you submit a motion, please? Board Member Bland. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Board Member Havoc.
This is Havik. With the lack of information and to move forward, I move that we sustain the value of 3112 Minnehaha Avenue for the market value of $1,980,000.
Thank you. Is there a second? It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,980,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 22, 3414 Minnehaha Avenue South, case number 20BH-0196. The property is currently assessed at $1,489,500. I'm on the feeling that a number of these people are planning on going on to the county. Lack of information, may I see a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we sustain the value of the property at 3414 Minnehaha Avenue at $1,489,500.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
Been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,489,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 23, 2930 33rd Avenue South, case number 20BH-0197. The 2020 estimated market value is currently at $2,880,000. And like all the preceding ones, no information is provided. May I have a motion?
I'll bring forward a motion for the property address at 2930 33rd Avenue South to sustain the market value at $2,880,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second? It's been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $2,880,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 24, I have a conflict of interest on this case. I need to get a question answered procedurally here. Is Jackie available?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. If I, in order to get a first and a second on a motion, would it be best if I retain the chair position for this?
Correct, Mr. Chair. You may preside over the item
Okay.
and then recuse yourself from the vote.
Thank you. Item number 24, 4908 First Avenue South, case number 20BH-0198. The 2020 market assessed value is $576,000. I will recuse myself from the discussion and only comment on, or only act on any motions.
Well, Mr. Chair, you put us in a tough spot. You've given us a huge packet and you've recused yourself. So I will need a minute to look through.
Okay. Board Member Bland.
I saw this house and it was really quite spectacularly done. I was very impressed. I'm, of course, Mr. Anderson, always impressed by your opinion. However, I think my motion would be to reduce the value of the property at 4908 First Avenue South from $576,000 to $500,000.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Havig, second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $500,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson abstains.
Thank you.
There are 2 ayes and 1 abstention. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 25, 1235 Yale Place, number G104, case number 20BH-0199. Question for the assessor's office. Did they intend just to appeal the value of their garage?
Chair Anderson, this is Rebecca. I do not have that information. That is what they provided for us. In this case, we did not go back through and ask them.
What I see in the information that was sent, they just did send us very small packet identifying the change in the garage values. So it's very possible that is what they're doing.
It is quite possible because we did increase garage stalls, and we have over the past couple of years.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Bland.
Well, I have absolutely no problem with increasing the value of a garage stall from 10,000 to 11,000. It's underground parking. It's downtown Minneapolis, and you're not going to find ability to park anywhere else. Make it worthwhile. And so, in my opinion, $11,000 for a garage stall is pretty reasonable.
I agree.
Therefore, I would move that we sustain the value of the property at 1235 Yale Place, number G104, at $11,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the market, or the 2020 estimated market value at $11,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 26, 2809 Buchanan Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0200. The current assessed value, our 2020 assessed value is $438,500. The applicant has provided 2 appraisals, one dated 2/22/19 for $380,000, a second appraisal from May of 2018 for $375,000. My comments relate to that. It's a contemporary property, or contemporary design property, which tend to sell higher per square foot than traditional homes. Are there any other comments from board members? Board Member Bland, I'm not sure if that's a current request.
No.
Okay.
Contemporaries usually sell higher per square foot because there's so much open space and high ceilings. So you're correct, Chair.
Thank you. Any additional comments in regards to either the appraisals or the current valuation? It's one of the more complicated properties to consider because of its style. Board Member Bland.
I agree with you. Contemporary properties are always difficult to evaluate for reasons cited and others. We've got 2 appraisals that came in fairly close within a relatively close period of time. I guess based on what I'm seeing here, I would move that we reduce the value for the property at 2809 Buchanan Street from $438,500 to $400,000.
Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
Thank you. It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $400,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 27, 2021 29th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0203. The applicant has provided an appraisal, or the current assessed value for 2020 is at $343,000. The applicant has provided an appraisal dated January of 18 at $320,000. Given the date of the appraisal and the amount of appreciation we've had, I'm surprised his current valuation is not higher. Board Member Bland.
Yes, I would agree with that. That area that we're referring to has experienced some increases, rather dramatic, as a matter of fact, over the past few years. And I would move to sustain the value for the property at 2021 29th Avenue South at $343,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Havig, second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $343,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 28, 740 Portland Avenue South, number 604, case number 20BH-0204. Current 2020 current assessed value is at $386,500, and just reviewing the information quickly. Lots of either redacted information or just poorly assembled information. I'm afraid I don't have any comments on this one. Go ahead, either of the other board members. Board Member Bland.
Well, there's a lot of information here for supposed comparables, lists of properties that have sold. However, I'm not seeing it as terribly helpful with regard to how those properties compare to the subject property. So based on that, I would move that we sustain the value for the property at 740 Portland Avenue, number 604 at $386,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $386,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 29, 3618 38th Street East, number C, case number 20BH-0205. The 2020 estimated market value is at $178,500, and all we have is a tax statement to make any information by. Currently, Faye, I can't tell if you've, Board Member Bland, if you've requested.
That's a current request, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So here's my comment. They didn't really provide any information for us to make a decision. So based on that, my motion is that we sustain the value of $178,500 for the property at 3618 38th Avenue, or 38th Street East, number C.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, having,
Been moved by Bland, second by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $178,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. From a procedural standpoint, just so we are now moving into the second packet we received, and starting out on page 1 again with the second packet. So we're on to item number 30, 3123 14th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0206. The 2020 estimated market value is at $714,000. We have a very short letter and one photograph of the front door at night. Either board member go ahead and comment.
Mr. Chair, the information provided was not particularly helpful. It is a huge leap in the valuation, but there's no information provided to refute that. And based on that, I would move that we sustain the value of the property at 3123 14th Avenue South at $714,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, having,
It's been moved by Bland, second by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $714,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 31, 4108 Aldrich Avenue South, case number 20BH-0207. This property is currently assessed in the estimated value in 2020 is at $360,000. And we have a list of property repairs needed and some photographs of those, 2 photographs of those repairs. Board Member Havoc.
Looking at the lack of information on this applicant and the fact that the assessed value did not go up from 19 to 20, I make a motion to sustain the value of $360,000 for the property at 4108 Aldrich Avenue South.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $360,000. I'll ask the clerk to call a roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 32, 4949 Morgan Avenue South, case number 20BH-0209. The 2020 estimated market value is $581,500, and the property owner has provided a half-page letter stating that their home value is too high and that the house needs some updating. Board Member Havoc.
For the property at 4949 Morgan Avenue South, the value has been sustained for 18, 19, and now 20. So I make a motion to sustain the value at $581,500 for the property address at 4949 Morgan Avenue South.
Second.
It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $581,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 33, 4916 Garfield Avenue South, case number 20BH-0210. The 2020 estimated market value is $651,500, and the applicant has provided some information here. A list of comparables or of sales in the area, but not any detail of making adjustments. Board Member Bland.
There were a lot of sales provided here. Nonetheless, I think the value at that location could be sustained at its current value. I would have liked to see some more detailed information about these these sales rather than just a list.
And information about the subject property as well would be helpful.
Yes.
I have no idea what it looks like based on what was submitted. May I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we sustain the value of the property at 4916 Garfield Avenue at $651,500.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havoc.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $651,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 34, 4524 Harriet Avenue South, case number 20BH-0211. The 2020 estimated market value is at $480,000, and like many of the others, the applicant has not provided any information. Board Member Bland. Oh, that might have been a previous request.
It was previous, but yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we sustain the value of the property at 4524 Harriet Avenue at $480,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havoc.
Thank you. It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at 4524 Harriet Avenue South at $480,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 35, 2516 DuPont Avenue South, case number 20BH-0212. The 2020 estimated market value is $950,500. The applicant has submitted an appraisal dated from February of this year for $810,000. And I think that is all the information that we have. The appraisal seemed fairly representative to me. Are there any other comments? Board, excuse me. Board Member Bland.
The appraiser also used the income approach on this. His comparable approach was 810. His income approach was 817.8. There does seem to be quite a discrepancy between the appraised value and the assessed value. I would make a motion that we reduce the value of the property at 2516 DuPont Avenue South from $950,500 to $850,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $850,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 36, 2404 31st Avenue South, case number 20BH-0213. The 2020 estimated market value is currently at $528,000. And I just have a few one-line descriptions. I don't have really much to comment on here. Board Member Bland.
I found the information provided not particularly helpful. There were a number of links, which may or may not be helpful, but based on the really lack of helpful information to make a determination, I would move that we sustain the value of the property at 2404 31st Avenue South at $528,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $528,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 37, 215 10th Avenue South, number 732, case number 20BH-0214. The 2020 estimated market value is at $432,500. Board Member Havig.
There we go. My screen changed. There we go. Are we okay? Are we still on?
Yep.
Okay. Based on the lack of information, the summary of comparable sales on the back, it's hard for me to make a determination. Faye, have you analyzed this at all?
Board Member Havik, yes, I did go over the information provided. This is the one that has a lot of noise problems, and the owners said that they can't even inhabit it comfortably. It's below the gym apparently, and you can hear barbells dropping, and you can hear footsteps, and I believe they've even brought some legal action that the noise problem was not disclosed to them. According to their letter, other parts of the building have been insulated for noise, and they've asked the board to do this for this particular unit, and the board has not agreed to do that. So based on their letter about how difficult it is and the noise problems, I would certainly look at reducing the value compared to other similar units in the building. It doesn't sound like it's very comfortable to be there.
Again, this is a case where even though comps, well, in this case, comps are provided, but additionally, outside influence on the property, I would agree to some sort of reduction.
Board Member Bland, do you have a suggestion?
Well, the homeowner is asking for $371,750. I guess that I would look at reducing the value to $375. So my motion is that we reduce the value for the property at 215 10th Avenue South, number 732, from $432,500 to $375,000.
Do I have a second on that?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $375,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 38, 811 4th Street Southeast, case number 20BH-0215. The 2020 estimated market value is at $3,159,500. And no information is provided. Board Member Bland.
The only things this homeowner has provided are photographs with no comments. I guess we're to make our own decisions on that. I see a very nice looking dog there on the porch, and I'm guessing that it's the reason that the backyard looks the way it does is because of the dog. But I don't think.
Faye?
Yes.
I think you jumped ahead one.
Am I, okay, where are we? Sorry.
811 4th Street Southeast.
Got it. Okay. You're right. I did.
And no information has been provided. That's why it was easy to skip ahead.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I do have here sustain in my notes. Based on the information provided by the homeowner or the property owner, I would, or lack of information, I would move that the value at 811 4th Street Southeast be sustained at $3,159,500.
Do I have a second?
A second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $3,159,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3
Item
ayes,
number-
the motion passes.
Sorry. Thank you. Item 39, 5340 Colfax Avenue South, case number 20BH-0219. This property is assessed, the estimated market value for 2020 is currently at $565,000. I believe Board Member Bland, you had some comments on this one.
I did. The only information that was provided by the seller were, again, photographs with no comments. I presume they were indicating that there were some problems with the property, mainly the exterior, but I don't see where they're very helpful in helping us to determine a value other than what the assessed value is. So based on that, I move that we sustain the value at the property at 5340 Colfax Avenue South at $565,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $565,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 40, 5004 34th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0221. This property is, the 2020 estimated market value is $403,000. The applicant has provided some information here. I think it's a copy of a partial copy of a lease. And I don't have a whole lot of information to go on here. Homeowner is requesting, or the applicant is requesting $350,000. Board Member Bland.
Well, the information provided is not terribly helpful. The comps that were provided are far afield from the property itself, so they're not particularly helpful. And the rental information, of course, is redacted, so I don't know that we have enough information to be able to make any decision other than to sustain. And that's my motion, that we sustain the value of $403,000 for the property at 5004 34th Avenue South.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
Has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $403,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 41, 2124 West Lake Isles Parkway, case number 20BH-0222. The 2020 estimated market value is currently set at $1,800,000. I did notice in that there's been $175,000 in permits pulled for improvements for a garage with an accessory dwelling unit, as well as a swimming pool. And the owner has not provided any other additional information. Board Member Bland.
Yes, I did see the improvements that he was made in the last year, last couple of years, and I think based on that, the value that's assessed is a reasonable number. Therefore, I would propose that we sustain the value of $1,800,000 for the property at 2124 Lake of the Isles Parkway West.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'm going to have a comment and a second. I think that this is a huge jump, and I don't believe swimming pools add value on Lake of the Isles, but I will second the motion for lack of information.
Thank you. It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,800,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 42, 2550 Seabury Avenue, case number 20BH-0223. The 2020 estimated market value is at $506,000. There was an appraisal completed in February of 19 for $465,000. And given the fact that Seabury Avenue overlooks West River Road with no houses in between the property and the river, and looking at the property, it looks very well done. There may be some deferred maintenance that I can't see in the photographs, but Board Member Bland, additional comments, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm looking at the letter from the homeowner, and according, again, it's a hardship case, which I can't give any value to that, but what value I do give to her letter is that she states that the assessor was in her property last year and agreed that the value needed to be reduced. Apparently that did not happen. I'm taking her word for it that that's what the assessor said, that she's not making that up. She does have to, pardon me?
It was 486.5 in 2017 and then reduced to 460 in 18 and sustained in 19 at 460. So
Okay, yeah,
there was a change there sometime.
I get last year maybe gets confused about exactly when last year was that the assessor was there. I guess based on the appraisal, which is, I believe, current.
It's February of 19, so there was some appreciation for the remainder of the year.
All right. I would move that we reduce the value of the property at 2550 Seabury from $506,000 to $490,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $490,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you, clerk. Item number 43, 4710 Humboldt Avenue North, case number 20BH-0225. This property, the 2020 estimated market value is $653,000, and we have no information. Any comments or a motion from the board?
I move that we sustain the value for the property at 4710 Humboldt Avenue North at the market value of $653,000.
Thank
Second.
you. It's been moved by Having and second by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $653,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you, clerk. Item number 44, 2446 Aldrich Avenue South, number 303, case number 20BH-0226. The 2020 estimated market value is at $121,000, and we have a letter that that was submitted late here, and I don't know if the board members have had a chance to review it. It does not offer a whole lot of evidence to make any changes. Board members Bland or Havig, go ahead and comment.
Mr. Chair, I would disagree. I think that the letter does point to some reduction in value. The properties in that building, in that configuration, the square footage have been selling for around 140,000. According to the letter from the personal representative, her mother lived there and made no changes. It sounded quite dreadful, actually. The letter writer, the representative for the estate, was quite frustrated by her mother's unwillingness to make any changes whatsoever, so that everything is exactly as it was. And these properties were converted from apartments to condos in about 1979. So if you want to do the math on that, nothing has changed from 1979. um, based on its current condition, or the condition last year, the time that we're evaluating here, nothing to do with COVID, it would have a reduced value. It would never begin to sell for around 140,000. So I would propose that we look at some reduced value of some sort, and I'm not sure what that value would be if others want to comment.
My only concern is that we have a narrative letter without any photographs to relate to, which would greatly enhance their argument. But lacking that, I would consider possible. The 2020 assessed value is at $121,000. Board Member Havig, do you have any comments?
I agree with Faye that there should be a reduction, but with the lack of information, it would be hard to substantiate. So I'll let her make a motion.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'm willing to accept the statement of the seller, of the owner, in her letter, despite the fact that there are no photographs to back up her statements. So I'm willing to make a reduction in the value of the property to $90,000 from $121,000 for the property at 2446 Aldridge Avenue South at Unit 303.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $90,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Nay.
With 2 ayes and 1 nay, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 45, 221 First Avenue Northeast, number 9, case number 20BH-0228. This property is currently assessed in estimated value for 2020 at $668,000. And homeowner has provided a one-page explanation. Are there any comments from the board? Go ahead and comment if you have anything.
Mr. Chair, in looking at what was provided by the homeowner, there's a list of sales provided, but there's no adjustment, or there's no information about square footage or number of bedrooms, bathrooms, whatever the kinds of things we look at. So based on that, I feel that we don't have enough information to make any kind of a determination. And I would propose, or I would move that we sustain the value of $668,000 for the property at 221 First Avenue Northeast, number 9.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $668,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 46, 740 Portland Avenue, number 903, case number 20BH-0229. The 2020 estimated market value on this property is $630,000. The applicant did supply an appraisal dated March 23rd of 20 for $565,000. And the comps that I looked at are, there are a couple in the building and a couple in nearby buildings, or at least one in a nearby building. Are there any other comments? Board members, go ahead if you have anything.
Mr. Chair, I thought the appraisal was helpful. I did notice that a couple of the comps supplied were in the same stack as this unit. So one could assume that they have, of course, the same square footage and probably the same view, unless there is a big difference in the floor that they were on. The appraisal came in at $565. The total market value for this year is $630. So that's quite a bit of a difference.
Board Member Havik, do you have any additional comments?
You know, I don't. I don't do a lot of downtown condos, so it's hard for me to make a value comment.
Just as a matter of note, I sold one in the building earlier this, excuse me, late in 2019. The appraisal that I see here pretty clearly reflects what I saw at that time.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I guess I would move that we reduce the value of the property at 740 Portland Avenue, unit number 903, from $630,000 to $585,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havik.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havik to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $585,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 47, 3549 3rd Avenue South, case number 20BH-0230. This property has a 2020 estimated market value of currently of $204,000. The property owner did not, or the applicant did not provide any information. Board members comment at will, or submit a motion.
I submit a motion to sustain the value of $204,000 for the property at 3549 3rd Avenue South.
Second.
It has been moved by Havik and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $204,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 48, 200 Oak Grove Street, case number 20BH-0231. The 2020 estimated market value is currently at $3,510,000, and the applicant has not submitted any documentation to us. May I have a motion or comments from the board, please?
Make a motion to sustain the value for the property at, a lot of addresses here, 200 Oak Grove Street for $3,510,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
It has been moved by Havik, seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $3,510,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 49, 6024 Logan Avenue South, case number 20BH-0232. The 2020 estimated market value is currently at $282,000. Is there any discussion or questions by the board? The property owner has submitted a number of photographs including pictures of an unfinished expansion and a garage that looks like it's in disrepair. Board members can comment at will.
Mr. Chair, the homeowner did submit some information. It was things pulled from Zillow. Not especially helpful when we see Zillow kinds of comments. I did not see anything here that would convince me to lower the value for the current year. And based on that, I would move that we sustain the value of $282,000 for 6024 Logan Avenue South.
Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $282,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 50, 214 Cecil Street Southeast, case number 20BH-0233. This property has currently has an estimated market value of $378,000. And the owner has submitted a letter and a couple of nearby properties for us to consider. Do any of the board members have any additional comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Okay, this part of Cecil Street would be on the freeway side of Franklin. And the homeowner's letter indicated that when the sound wall went up as a barrier, it increased the sound at this particular property. It affected it more than any other property. So those sound walls can be really tricky. So that is a detriment to any property to have to deal with that noise. I don't find that the submissions of the homes that were to be considered is very helpful. This came from some site, I don't know what it was, but they've included a property at 56th and Humboldt and one on Cleveland and St. Paul. So these are kind of meaningless. So the only thing that I can rely on in any way to make some kind of a decision would be to take into account the noise factor at this particular property.
Agreed. The comps were not helpful at all beyond the one on Cecil Street. Board Member Havig, do you have any additional comments, or may I have a motion?
I think the sound wall is a consideration for a reduction, so I will follow Board Member Bland's lead on this.
Thank you. Board Member Bland, may I have a motion?
Well, it's pretty hard to factor in just exactly what that would be. However, I guess I'd propose that we reduce the value of the property at 214 Cecil Street from $378,000 to $350,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
Thank you. It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $350,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 51, 1308 West Minnehaha Parkway, case number 20BH-0234. The 2020 estimated market value is currently at $950,000. The property owner has submitted a half-page letter and a map. And let me check here. The information is scant at best. Board Member Bland.
Yes, I would call it scant. Would be nice to have seen an appraisal or at least a comparative market analysis, but none of that is included. So based on that, I feel we don't have any real helpful information. It is a property on Minnehaha Creek in a nice area, and I would move that we sustain the value at $950,000 for 1308 Minnehaha Parkway West.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
Thank you. It's been moved by Bland, seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $950,000. I'll ask the clerk to call a roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 52, 1607 Mount Curve Avenue, case number 20BH-0235. The 2020 estimated market value is at $1,850,000. And all I see, can someone from the assessor's office explain what a photocopy of an envelope means to us?
Chair Anderson, I will have to take a look at it. I am not familiar with the document that you're referencing.
Mr. Chair, board members, when we received applications after the deadline, I would scan the envelope so it had a timestamp when we received it. So we knew when it was before the cutoff or after the cutoff, before the, I should say, the date in which the board convened. That was the only reason for that.
Thank you. With that explanation, this applicant will have the opportunity to go on to the county with this date on as part of the public record. Do I have a motion?
I have a comment, Mr. Anderson. There were a lot of improvements made to this property. The evaluation took a big leap, but there is no evidence disputing the value that's been assigned to it. And given the area that this property is located in, I can't really say that the value is over what it ought to be. So based on that, I move that we sustain the value at 1607 Mount Curve Avenue at $1,850,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
Thank you. It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,850,000. I'll ask the clerk to call a roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 53, 3857 First Avenue South, case number 20BH-0236. The 2020 estimated market value is currently at $255,500. And again, we just have the date stamp letter. Go ahead, board members.
Yeah, it's too bad, but unfortunately, with the lack of information, we'll have to sustain the market value at $255,500 for the property address at 3857 First Avenue South.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $255,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 54, 3533.5 Valley Street, case number 20BH-0237. The 2020 estimated market value is at $60,500. That is up from $30,000 the previous year. And the homeowner, our applicant, identifies it as an unbuildable lot that the city met with the previous year and reduced it to $30,000, and then it has increased right back to $60,500 again. Are there any other additional comments from board members?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I don't need to make any additional comments. I think it's clear that it should probably be, again, reduced to the $30,000 the previous year after the assessor made a visit to the property. So based on that, I would move that we reduce the value for the property at 3533.5 Valley Street from $60,500 to $30,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
Been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $30,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 55, 3300 Minnehaha Avenue South, case number 20BH-0238. The 2020 estimated market value is currently at $4,920,000. And all we have are some redacted tax statements, and some property lists with, again, more redacted information. So clearly this is beyond our scope to act on this. Any other comments or a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion based on the information that is redacted for us to maintain the value of 3300 Minnehaha Avenue at the market value of $4,920,000.
Second.
It's been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $4,920,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 56, 1418 Adams Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0239. This property is currently assessed for the estimated market value for 2020 is $514,000. And we have a half-page letter and the valuation notice from the applicant. And it's a hardship letter about retirement. I feel for anyone on fixed income, but I don't have enough information to make a determination. Board Member Bland.
Chair Anderson, there is a hardship letter here, and again, those are hard to read, but of course, a hardship like this does not affect the actual value of the property. So based on that and no other information that is helpful, I would move that we sustain the value for the property at 1418 Adams Street at $514,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland, second by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $514,000. Clerk, will you call the roll on the motion?
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 57, 111 4th Avenue North, number 307, case number 20BH-0240. This property is currently assessed at, or the 2020 estimated value is $784,000. And there's a one-page summary market analysis listing one active and 4 solds. Are there any other comments from board members?
Mr. Chair, looking at the comparables provided, there was one sale in the same stack, one floor below. It sold for looks like $775,000 in July of 2018. One would assume that there's been some improvement in value, maybe, over the last couple of years. I guess based on that, I would move that we sustain the value of the property at 111 4th Avenue North, number 307, at $784,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $784,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you, clerk. Item 58, 111 4th Avenue North, number G68, case number 20BH-0241. This property has a 2020 estimated market value of $20,400. It is the garage space for the previous item, and no additional new information is provided. Board members, go ahead and make a motion or add comments as you see fit.
Mr. Chair, again, I have no problem with valuing a underground heated parking space at $20,400. Based on that, I would move that we do sustain the value of $20,400 for the property at 111 4th Avenue North, G68.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $20,400. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 59, 111 4th Avenue North, number G77, case number 20BH-0242. 2020 is estimated market value is $20,400. This is the second garage space for the property we've been discussing. Is there any new comments, or may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to sustain the value for the parking spot at 111 4th Avenue North, G77, for the market value of $20,400.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved by Havigan and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $20,400. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you, clerk. With that, we have concluded the write-in appeals before the board. For the final 2 items on the agenda, I will call on the assessor's office staff to present these matters to the board. Item number 60, appeals being brought by the city assessor recommending no change.
Chair Anderson, members of the board, item number 60 on your agenda in the addendum is titled Appeals Being Brought by the City Assessor Recommending No Change. These are outstanding cases that we have that we were waiting for to hear back from property owners, and we haven't heard back. So we just are asking, our recommendation is to sustain these values so that they preserve the right to appeal to Hennepin County.
Thank you. May I please have a motion to approve the staff recommendation for no change in valuation to those properties brought forward by the city assessor?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Havoc.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to approve the staff recommendation for no value changes. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 61, appeals received since the board convened on May 6th recommending no change. Staff?
Chair Anderson, members of the board, item number 61 in your addendum is appeals received since the board convened on May 6th, and we are recommending no change. So these are all the appeals that we continue to receive and field through the assessor's office voicemail, people that still wish to be added to your agenda, preserving their right to appeal to Hennepin County. So with this list, essentially what we are asking you to do, there's about 192 of those that have filed since you convened on May 6th. We are asking you to sustain these values and essentially close the agenda to new appeals at the time that you adjourn.
Thank you. May I please have a motion to approve the staff recommendation for no change in valuation of those properties brought forward by the city assessor?
So moved, Havoc.
It has been moved. Oh, excuse me. I need a second.
Second.
It's been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to approve the staff recommendation for no value changes. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed is absent. Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. We're on to adjournment. With that, we have completed all items on the agenda for this meeting. I will ask members and staff if there are any other matters to come before this meeting.
Chair Anderson, this is Rebecca. And we have no other items to come before you, but we just want to express our gratitude to all of the board members for serving this year in our 2020 Local Board of Appeal and Equalization, and to our partner departments, the city clerk's staff, communications staff, some staff from the convention center that have been helping, and the IT staff that have been helping to produce these live virtual hearings. Thank you to everybody that's been participating.
And I'd like to echo that as well. I also want to make sure we recognize our partners in the Document Solution Center. They've been extremely helpful. We have been sending them these large PDFs to print, bind, and ship them out to you so we can get them to you as soon as we possibly can. And they've literally put other projects on hold to just run our projects right when we get them to, we deliver them to the Document Solution Center. So I don't want to miss saying thanks to that group. And again, we really appreciate how flexible you've been We've never done the virtual meeting, and we've learned a lot as we've been going on. And if we have to do this again, I think the next time it'll even be much, much better. So I just need to say a big shout out to Rebecca. This has absolutely been her baby, and I could not have been more pleased with how she has been able to keep this all together, but she also has an excellent support staff with Nancy and Brian and Tim and Alyssa. So thank you very much. We appreciate it and hope to see you again next year.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a comment. This is my second year on the board, and the virtual meeting is interesting. I think although it's been more work, the chance to get the information before we sit down at the hearing has been extremely helpful, rather than try to digest it on the fly when we're sitting there. So going forward, despite the fact that I know it's a great deal of extra work for your department and the other departments that support you, I think this was a more helpful way of doing things, despite the fact that it was a lot more time invested on my part, and I assume the other board members too.
Agreed. From the assessor's office, Malmquist.
Chair Anderson and board members, I also would be remiss if I didn't mention the great partnership that we've had this year with the Department of Revenue staff as we reworked our process to gain efficiencies and transparency, and then our work with Hennepin County. I think this year we really all came together to produce what has come to be a really, really good process for appellants and for the board and for all the staff involved. So thank you to them as well.
Okay, if not and without objection, I will declare the local Board of Appeal and Equalization adjourned for the year. Thank you, everyone.